Hello everyone. So in this video I am going to create a complete authentication system using Node.js and as a language I will use TypeScript, not JavaScript, because TypeScript is a static type language. When you declare a variable you have to give type first, and but in JavaScript there is no such giving type to the variable when you declare. So I will use TypeScript here, and as a database I will use PostgreSQL, and for ORM, object lesson mapper, I will use Prisma. Prisma also helps in creating the database and creating the models, and it helps in fetching the data from database easily, because it provides some built-in functions to get the data, and you don't have to write a big SQL queries for that. So let's first init the project and pm init, and I will not give dash y here because it give all the answers that it asks automatically. So I will only give npm init and I will give answers by. So first answer is like package name, and I want to give it default 3 complete Node.js authentication, and a version I will keep it default, and description I will give this is the authentication system, complete an authentication system using Node.js. You can write different if you want, and entry point is not index.js because I am using a TypeScript, so I have to give index.ts, not index.js. Test command I will give it default, and keywords. Author is a spy-care coding. This is the name of my YouTube channel, and the license MIT, and yes, and it will create a package.json file, and it contains all the configuration when you install a package it will create a field dependency, and it will store all the packages name and its version. So let's set up install some packages for the TypeScript setup. You are using TypeScript in this project, so we are using TypeScript in this project, so we have to install some packages for the TypeScript setup. So first install npm install -d TypeScript ts node dev, and it will install the TypeScript, and it will take some time, so let's wait. Okay, it has installed a ts node and TypeScript, and this is the version of the ts node and TypeScript, so it is the latest version I think. And let's install some other packages first init the TypeScript. So and px tsc and init, it will create a tsconfig.json file, and it contains all the configuration files for the TypeScript related. So in this file we have to change something like source directory, because I am using here src direct not scr, src directory, and it will contain all the main code like controller routes and all. So let's change the source directory here, and let's search the source directory, source dir. I think the name is dir. Let's search root dir, not the source dir, root dir. So we have to change here src, because all the code all the main code will be here in src folder. So let's change one more field like output dir. When we build this project, then in the dist file, dist folder contain all the build files, so we have to change the output dir. So let's search out dir, and we have to change dist, and all other let's keep it default. Okay, let's move on the package.json file, and we have to install some other packages first install npm I am using Express here for the server management. So let's install Express course for the course management, like origin management, and .env for the environment variables. Env, like env files contain the secret like secret configurations. So let's install .env for managing that, and bcrypt.js for the hashing the password. Like when we store a password in a database, you have to first hash the password for the security reasons. So bcrypt.js package helps you to hash the password, and we will store that password in a database. And JSON web token for the when you login, then it will sign in some token, and it will provide token. Then you want to fetch some data from the database, then first you have to provide that token, like because only logged user in user can fetch the data from the database, so it helps in that, and it's called JWT authentication. So JSON web token, and then PG for the for the Postgres, because we are using Postgres here for the database. So let's install all these packages, and then install Prisma, because I am using Prisma here for the ORM. So npm install Prisma save dev, because I am installing this as a dev dependency package. So npm install Prisma save dev, and then npm install Prisma client. This is all the setup for the Prisma. And then install all the type, because we are using TypeScript here, so we have to install the types of the packages. So let's install types of Express, and types of course, and then types of bcrypt.js, and then types of node, and install. Okay, it has installed all the packages like Prisma client, TypeScript, and dev as a dev dependency. I have installed Prisma as a dev dependency, and ts node dev, and TypeScript. Okay, so these are all the setups for creating this project, and let's init the npx init Prisma. I think no npm npx Prisma init. So it will create a Prisma folder, and in the Prisma folder there is a schema.prisma file. So it is taking some time, so let's wait. And that file is for all the configuration for the Prisma, so we have to create that for the database. So it has created a Prisma folder, and inside the Prisma folder there is a schema.prisma, and it is containing all the configuration for the Prisma. Like output dir is a src generated in Prisma, and provided is PostgreSQL. By default it is using PostgreSQL, and in this project we are using PostgreSQL as well. So let's keep it default. And URL for URL we have to create a .env, and it is by default created by the Prisma. So let's delete this, because I am using here localhost PostgreSQL. So PostgreSQL and username, password as yet localhost, and default port is 5432, and MyDB, not MyDB. I have to create this database in a PostgreSQL pgadmin software. So I will show you pgadmin. This is the pgadmin software. I will recommend you to install this, and it will ask some giving passwords. So we have to give the password, and when you create a database, that created database will be like I will give here. So let's wait for it is opening, waiting for the PG admin to start. So it is taking some time. uh, it is opening, so it is taking much time. Why this is taking much time? Let's give the username. My username is like not Postgres, and this is the default username for like PG admin, and it has opened. And I have created the main database here. So let's create another database for this project. Database Node.js Authentication YouTube, and save this. Node.js Authentication YouTube. So this is the name of the database. So we have to give here like in a database URL in a env file. My username is a Postgres. This is the default default username for the Postgres software. So if you don't change the like username, then this is the default Postgres. And password, for the password you have to give like when you install a PG admin, then you have to give some password, then that password you have to give here. So give my password is younger123, and this is the local host, because don't don't copy this and use in your project. This will not work because this is the local host like URL. It will only work on my system. So first you have to install, like I will recommend you to first install the PG admin software, and then it will ask some password. Give the password and then create a database, and then give that database here. So my database name is Node.js Authentication YouTube. Okay, so this is the database URL for my database. And schema.prisma, it is like importing from the env. So this database URL is automatically here come from the like env file database URL. So this is the database setup, and then create a user model. Like I have said previously that Prisma is also used for creating the model program, and also like it is helping connecting the database. And let's create a model user ID. This type is int, and this type comes from the Prisma, not from the TypeScript. So in Prisma, like in the TypeScript there is a number, but in Prisma it's int. First letter of int is a capital, remember this. And this ID is default because it's like it's a primary key and auto increment. When you create a database, then it will auto increment 1 2 3. And second field is a username, and its type is a string, and third is email. Its type is also a string, and it is unique because we are creating a user based on an email, so email should be unique. And third is password is a string, and fourth is created at is a date time, and it is default. Timestamp when you create a data, like when you create a table user, then it will automatically store the created at timestamp in a database. So default is now at the time of creating the table, it like at the time of adding the record in the table, it will store the time stamp of that like now means current time. So let's write one more field like updated at, and it is also a default, and like there is a decorated updated at. When you update the data, then it will store the time stamp of that current time. So it is the model. We have to run a command for creating that model in a database. So let's run npm like npx prisma db posts. So it will create a user table in a database. So let's open the pgadmin, and the Node.js authentication I have to first refresh it, and in a schema public tables there is a user. So this is the table that we have created. So all rows, and it will give all the, like, it will show all the column name, like first is your id and second is your username, email, password created and updated. So let's write some other code for adding the data, like first controller, routes and services. So let's create a folder. First is your controllers, and in this control it will store all the controllers, and the second is routes for the routes management, and third is middlewares for the middlewares, and fourth is services for the services, all the services, and fifth is utils, all the helper functions. Utils will contain all the helper functions, and that this project required. So let's first write services. So I will create a file auth services .ts, then import the bcrypt from the bcrypt.js, and import JWT from the jsonwebtoken, and import Prisma client, not from the Prisma, because one more folder is created here, like generated. So we have to import from the generated folder. So dot generated and Prisma, and it is giving JSON web token because we have to install the types of the JSON web token. So let's copy it and paste here to install all the types of the JSON web token. So now here's gone, and first initialize the Prisma and create the instance of that Prisma, new Prisma client, and const JWT second, no, just class auth services, and all the auth related services I will write in class auth services, auth service class. So first method is static register user and async, and it will require username, and its type is a string, and second is email, and its type is a string as well, and password, its type is a string. Let's change the font family of this project. So first I will create a VS Code settings.json. I like JetBrains Mono font very much, so I will give JetBrains Mono for this project. So hashed password. I'm creating a user, so first we have to hash the password we are stored in a database. So bcrypt hash password, and salt value is at 10, so it will hash the password, and create a user. Now await prisma dot user dot create, and it will require data of the user, username and email and password. Password I will give hashed password, not the raw password, because of the security reasons. So return the user. After creating user, it will return the user object. And second method, I will create a find user by email. So this is also a static method, find user by id, and it will require an argument id number and its type is number, and return prisma dot user find unique, because in our database in user record email is unique, so we have to find a user based on the email, so it will give a unique user. So in email, where email equal to email. Okay, no, I am finding user by id, so I have to give id here. So id. Let's create one another function method, find user by email. So it will require an argument email, and type is a string, return prisma dot user find unique, and now I will give email equal to email. It will find a unique user based on email, because email is a unique, so it will give one user at a time. Now let's test this auth service. Like, first we have to export this auth service class, export default. Okay, now create a controller, auth controller.ts, and all the routes like routes functions I will write in a auth controller file. So import auth services first, import request and response from Express. I import like first export default. I will export after like writing the class. So first write the auth controller, a static sign up. I am giving name is sign up. In the services there is a name for the registering user I have given in auth services register user, but in a controller I will give sign up user, and you can give register user as well, but I will give a different name, sign up user. So sign up and async, this is the async function, and take for the request and res response, and I will use here try and catch for the error handling. And if any error comes, then we will give like return the res.status 400 for the bad request, and we will give a message that registration failed, and also the error. I have given only error because in a JavaScript, or you can say in a TypeScript, it will create a like key and value error. So you can give only the error name, and it will create a key as a error, and a value it is like error. So if any error comes, we have to return this status bad request, and this and the message will be given that registration failed. Now create now takes all the value from the client that client provides. So first is username, and second is email, and then password. These are all the values that client will provide when like hitting this endpoint sign up user. So and it will come from the rec.body request body, and const existing user. First we have to check that if any user has registered already. So find the user by this email. If any user exists, then it will deny to register again, because user has already registered. So we will give a error user has already registered. So existing user we have to find auth. We have defined like in auth service I have defined a function called find by email. So I will use that function here. and if any user comes, then it will if an existing user, then we have to like return raise dot status and 400 JSON, and I will give message user has already registered. And if user does not exist, so we have to create the user await auth services dot register user, username, email and password. Register user require these parameters. I will give hashed password here, not the password. Okay, password, because registered user is already hashing the password, so we have to only pass the password and it will hash and then store. So you don't have to hash here, because in the registered user it is hashed. So we have created user, and then like raise.status. After successfully creating the user, I will return the user, return raise.status 201. It is the status for the creating anything. So user has created successfully, so I am giving 201 as a status code. Then JSON user, when user is created, then it will return the user object. So let's export this, export default auth controller. Now let's set up the main.ts file. So I have to create an index.ts. My entry point is index.ts. In package.json you will see that I have given index.ts main entry file. So I have to create this index.ts, and then import .env from .env, and then import course from the course for the course management, import express, import express, and then request and also response from the express, import like first configure the .env. So we have to write .env.config, and then const app create the instance of the express, and then app.use we have to use the middleware course for the course management. And you can give origins here also if you want origins, like which origin you want to allow. So I will give origin as a like it requires an array of like URL which origin you want to allow. So I will localhost at http localhost, and for the port I will give 3000. You can give more like more URL for allowing the origin. So let's use some other middleware, JSON express.json. It will help you to like pass the data in JSON format, and then define the port, and I will fetch that port from the env file. So process.env.port, and if and the fallback is 8000. If this port is not available, then 8000 will be 8000 is used as a port. So let's write a host process.env.host. Let's write the env file. For the port I will give 8000, and the host is the local host, and one more like env secret is a JWT secret. It is helpful in hashing the password and comparing the password. Like, so let's create something like, you can create anything, JWT secret. So let's write in a index.ts. I have to give this index in the src folder. So move this index.ts in a src folder. So in app.ts, like in index.ts, I have to like listen this port and create a server port, and then console.log which template return server is running at http host and then port. And when you run the this project, then it is printing, it will print a server is running at http host and a port. So let's run this project first, and let's write a default route, like a home route, app dot get. For the home, I will send a return raise dot it will require a raise rec and raise, like request and response. Let's return the raise.json message like welcome to the coding, spiker coding. So when we hit the like dash slash, like localhost slash, then it will print welcome to the spiker coding. Let's run this project, npm run dev. First we have to give the script here. So in a scripts field dev, I will nodemon src, inside the src index.ts. So first I have to install the nodemon here. So let's install the nodemon. Nodemon helps you to run the project as a, like when you save the file, then it will automatically reflect that changes. So it is helping in like reloading the project. So npm install nodemon. So it has installed. Let's run the project, npm run dev. Then it will run this script nodemon src.ts and sorry, index.ts. Index.ts is inside the src, so we have to give the relative path here, nodemon dot slash src slash index.ts. And it has run successfully the project, nodemon src.ts, and it is running on the port. Server is running at the http localhost 8000. Let's test this port, the default port. Okay, let's http localhost 8000, and let's hit this, and it is printing, it is giving me welcome to the spiker coding, because it is the home route and I have written a home route here, welcome to the spiker coding. Okay, let's register the user. So first we have to create a routes. So for the routes, I will create auth router.ts, auth routes.ts. So import router from Express, and then import auth controller, and import auth. First const the route, const router, create an instance of the router object, and then const router. Okay, and then router.post. First I have to like sign up, so I will give URL name, like endpoint name auth, and then register, and then it then user will hit the like user is when user hit this endpoint, auth register, then this controller function will call. So auth controller dot sign up, and then export default router, and then use in the index.ts you have to use that router as a middleware, like you can say like in middle as a middleware. So app.use and I will give a prefix path like API and then auth and then register. So the endpoint is localhost 8000 slash API and all the auth router endpoint like API, auth and register. So this is the endpoint. So API, and I will use here auth router. So first I have to import the router, import router from the auth routes, and I will change the name auth router. Auth router. Let's again run the project, npm run dev, and now test the register user. So I have to come here and I will hit this endpoint, then it is giving welcome to the Spiker coding. Then let's API and auth and then register, auth and register. If I hit this like send, I will click this if I click the send button, then it is giving me some error like cannot get get is not defined here, like this on this endpoint get is not a valid method because I have given post method here. So it is I have given the post method, so we have to use the post method here. In a like when you click the button, first you have to change the method name and then you have to give some data. First I will run this, like hit the point without data, then it is giving me error like registration failed. We have, because we have not given some data, because it requires some data in the like we will go in a sign up, then it is requiring like request.body. So I can give like I can handle one error here is that not username, not email, and or not password. Then I will return res.status 400.json, and message I will give please give please give required fields. So when you run when you hit the endpoint without giving some data, then it will give this error. If it is not giving error, like it is giving registration file. Let's give some data. Like first is a username. I will give hello, and in username email I will give hello@gmail.com, and password I will give hello123. Let's click this send button, and it has created a user of ID1, username hello, email is hello@gmail.com, and password is hashed password, and the created at the current time as time of like now I have created the project. I have created this user and the updated is the current time. Now let's create another service called login user. I have created the user and then create a login user function in a auth service. So a static login user async email, and its type is a string, and password const user await, this is the find user by email. First we have to check that the email is user exists or not in a database. If user not exist in a database, so we have to give a error like user not found. So if not user, then we have to give like throw error, throw new error like user not found. And if user found, then we have to check the password, that the password is correct or not. So is match await bcrypt dot compare password and then user dot password. We will compare the password and the stored password. If this match, if this password does not match, then we will give error. Okay, if is not match, then we will throw error, new error, invalid password. And if password is matched, then we will create a token jwt.sign, and we will provide some metadata, user id, user.id, and then jwt secret. So first we have to like create a variable jwt secret and process.env. I will fetch it from the env file I have declared there. jwt secret, you can see in a like env there is a jwt secret. So I have created the jwt secret variable, and it will store the jwt secret from the env file. And jwt sign require jwt secret, so we have to give jwt secret, and I will give null check operator here, because if you hover on the sign in, then you can see that jwt secret can't be null. So when you fetch from the env, it is by default a string or undefined, but it is requiring jwt secret can't be null. So we have to give here null check operator. We are ensuring that this can't be null, because we are providing jwt secret. So we have to ensure that it can't be null. So we have to give here null check operator. So jwt secret, and then expires in 1 hour. We have to give time, like in how much time it will expire. So I have given 1 hour. In 1 hour it will expire. So after successfully login, we will return the token, and token contains all the user id and the metadata. And I have given only one metadata, like user.id. You can give another like username, you can give user.username. Okay, so let's write a route for the login user. First write controller for the login user. So static login async request and response as a response. So we have to first get all the like fields from the client. Client is providing password for the login user. Client will provide email and password. So we will get from the request.body const token await auth service dot login user, and login user require only 2 parameter, email and password. So we have to give email and password as a parameter in a login user function, or you can say method. After taking the token, then we will return the res.status 200. it means success. 200 is the success status code, and the JSON token. So when you log in the user, it will return the token only. So let's write. First, I will use. I think let's handle the error from like using the try catch block. It will help you to catch the error if any error comes. So if any error comes, then if any error comes, let's raise.status add request.json, and message is like login failed, and then you can give error here also. So let's write error. Why it is giving error? Cannot find it. It means error. Okay, error. But correct spelling is capital R here. So let's change here. Okay, if any error comes, then it will return the login failed as a message. So let's write route for this. Okay, so it is also our router.post, and route is auth login, and then auth controller.login, and let's test this route. So a register, I will change it to login, and it is also a post method. So I have to give correct username and password. Let's give hello, not hello, h1, and then send. And then it will give me login failed because user is not correct. So let's write a correct user hello, and it is again saying login failed. Why it is saying username and email? I have to give no not username, email and password I have to give. So for the login the user, we have to give email and password, not the username and email. So hello@gmail.com, and password is like hello123. Let's send it, and it is giving me token. So it is working well. So it gave me token, and this token contain all the metadata that I have provided when I have created that token by using the JWT sign. So when you give incorrect email, then it will give me error like login failed. So it is working fine. So let's write like one more function like for getting the user. So I will write in a auth services file. I have written like find user by ID. I have already written find user by ID. So let's write a controller for this find user by ID. So let's write here a static get user by ID. Rec is request, and then res is response, and then try handle from the try case error, and if any error comes, then raise.status 400, then JSON message is internal server error, like you can give any error if you want, and then error is error. So let's write 500 because it is the status for the internal server error, and then const user, find the user rec dot, oh I don't have to like get from the request. So if first const user id rec dot params dot id, because when getting the user I will give like /1 for getting the user of id 1. So I have to give I have to fetch that id number from params. So request.params.id, it will give me id that you want to fetch from the database, the user that you want to fetch from the database. So in user id it will store the id of the user. And then found user, let's find user based on this id. So wait auth service find user by id, I have created that function in the auth services file. And parse int user id, because when you fetch the user id from the params, it is giving me a string by default. So I have to like convert this string id in a integer. That's why I have given the parse int here. So if not found user means user is not found, then I will return a error, return this dot status 400.json message user not found with this id. Okay, and then if user is found, then we will return that user, return status 200 and then json found user, it will return the user. So let's write one middleware here, because we are verify the token, because when you hit the endpoint like localhost API auth and user and then one, then we have to give the token, like only login user can fetch the data from the database. So if you when you login in a database, then it is giving me some token, and token contains some metadata. So first we have to give that token in a header file, like in header. Then it understand that the user is already login, so it will give me this data. So first we have to create a middleware, it will verify that the token is valid or not, then it will allow to fetch the data from the database, like get user by id. So let's create a middleware here. Inside the middleware auth auth middleware.ts, and in auth middleware.ts I have to import response next function from the express. I am writing express. Okay, and then let's write one helper function inside the utils folder. I will create one file called jwt.ts. All the helper functions related to the jwt. So I will write here jwt from the jsonwebtoken, and then const jwt secret equal to process.env process.env dot jwt secret. Okay, and then export const verified token, and token, it will require a token as an argument and its type is a string, and then try catch error and throw. If any error comes, then it will throw a error invalid token, and if token is correct, then we will verify using the jwt.verify. Jwt provide a built-in method called verify. So jwt verify and then token and then jwt secret. And also I have to give null check operator here. I have previously explained why we are giving null check operator here. So JWT dot verify dot token, it will decode, it will check the token is valid or not. So in the auth middleware .ts file, we have to import the verified token from the utis JWT, and then class auth middleware, middleware static. I will create one static method authenticate, and it will require a author request, and then a res for the response, and then next function, const token rake dot header. We will fetch this token from the header. When you hit the point, we have to provide a header, token as a header. So header name is authorization. You can give any name if you want. Authorization, I will give authorization as a name of the header, and then replace rake dot header. Okay, first I have to import the request, then replace the bearer. By default, if you give the by default, if you give token as a header, then it will by default configure a bearer in a place of token. It will give bearer and then token. So we have to replace that bearer in a single quote, remove that bearer word from that token. So I will use replace here, bearer, and then I will replace this as a single quote. I am just removing the bearer from the token, and then if not token, if token is not found, then we will return the res.status 401 JSON message no token provided, and let's try case. Res.status 401 JSON message and valid token. If any user comes, then they will simply return the invalid token as a error message. Then decode the token, that we are fetching the token from the header, then we will decode that token. As I have previously said, that token is token is configured with some metadata like user ID, and I have given username also. So if you want that data from the token, then we have to first decode that token, and I have created the verified token function for that, and it is recording the decoded object, and then request dot you can pass the decoded data in a request. So first we have to create another extended request, custom request I have to create. So let's create in a utis file, let's create a types.ts, because we are giving we are extending that request. So in a TypeScript we have to first create another type, custom type, but in JavaScript you can you can give the request.user and request.id and some data. It will not give error, but in a TypeScript we have to, if you want to give extend that request object, then you have to create custom type. So let's create it. Let's import JWT payload from the jsonwebtoken and import request object from the Express, and then export interface. I will create an interface authenticated request, and it extends from the request. because we are extending that request, we are creating authenticated request as a custom request, and I will give user as a as a field, and it is a string or JWT payload. JWT payload is the decoded data from the token. So let's request.user. Now it find the user field. First we have to change this authenticated request. Now it will it will find the user field from the request object, because we have changed the request to the authenticated request, and I have defined the user in a authenticated request, so it will not give me any error. So let's provide the decoded here, and then I call the next function. Okay, so I have extended that request object. So let's write for now first we have to export this auth middleware, export default auth middleware. Then let's write the routes for the get user. So let's write router dot get, and then this user, and then ID. This is the dynamic route. I have given the param ID, and then auth middleware, authenticate, and then auth controller, then get user by ID. When you hit this endpoint, first it run the authenticate, then authenticate decode the token. First it will fetch the token from the header, and then it will decode by using, I have declare a function called verified token, and it will decode that token from the header, and then decoded that I have extended in the request object, and then if all thing fine, then it will call the next call the controller function. So it is the flow of the endpoint in a auth router. First it will run the authenticate, then after decoding the token and extending in a request object, it will call the next, and the next will call the auth controller dot get user by ID, and inside the get user by ID I have fetching the data from the request params dot ID. You can also get user by ID in auth. I can also take the user from the request.user, because I have extended that request authenticated request request to the authenticated request object. So I have to give here also authenticated request. So user is also inside the request object, because in the middleware I have passed this data. So we can also fetch from the request.user user data, and you can return the found user also. Let's return object. First is a found user, and then user. Okay, so it is from the middleware, and it's from the dynamic route, so both will work fine. So let's first write the routers. I have written the route router is user ID, and then first it will create run the authenticate, and then after passing the data, decoding the token, it will call the next function, and next function will call the get user by ID. Let's test this route. Okay, run this, and this is the get method, so I have to give API, and this route is I think API user and ID, not the auth, because it is not it is after the login user, so I don't have to give auth here, because it makes no sense. So let's test the route. API user and then one. then it will fetch like no token provided, because I have not given any token to the header. So we have to provide authorization, because my header name is authorization there. So I have to like create authorization header here, and then provide the value of the token. So let's first log in the user. So let's log in the user and copy that header, copy that token from login user, auth login, and then we have to provide body here. So if not, I have to give post here first. So API, first we have to give the API route. So it is providing me token. Then first let's copy it and then fetch the data from the database. So API and then user and then one, and the method is get, and we have to provide authorization value as this token. Then I will click the send button, then it will give me found user and the user from the decoded token. I have given in our when like in you can auth control dot ts in the login user. In the login user I have given the metadata to the token. First is user ID and the second is the username. So it is providing me after hitting that endpoint. So it is giving me user ID, username, and this is the expire second. It is in, I think, in a milliseconds. So it is giving this user from the token and this user from the database. So it is working fine. This is the complete authentication system using TypeScript, Node.js, and I have used like Express.js for the server management and the PostgreSQL for the database. So let's create one another user here. So let's create API, auth, and register. Then username I will give here is hers. Then email is hers@gmail. Let's create email by hello, and then we have to give post here. Why it is giving error? API auth register post username hers email hello@gmail.com. Password is okay. First okay I have to give comma here. User has already registered because that email is already exist in a database. You can verify here, view data all rows. You can see here that hello and hello@gmail.com database data is already registered, already stored here. So we can't create that user from this email again. So let's change this email to the hers and then create. And it has created of ID to username hers and the email is hers@gmail.com. Let's get this user by API user and 2 of ID 2 and get user, and we have to provide a header. If I hit this, then it will give me hers@gmail, and the data it is giving me hello, because I have provided the token of the login user of hello user, because this is the token of the hello login user. So first we have to log in from this ID. For the hers I have to give API auth and login post method, and for the body I have to give email and password. Email is hers@gmail.com, and then password is hello123. So let's run it, and it is giving me token, and it is containing all the metadata of the hers user. So let's get that data from the API user and 2. and then in the authorization I have to change the token to this, and now it is giving me correct data of the second user. This is the token data and this is the found user data. So it is working fine. You can handle more error if you want. So let's meet in the next video. This is the complete authentication system using the Node.js, TypeScript and PostgreSQL, and also the Prisma for the ORM. So meet in the next video. Okay, bye.